Good evening, my learners, my grade 10s, once more. These days I'm specializing with the young ones because I want them to get the basics, as I said yesterday, as they are. Let me apologize once more for my dreadlocks. I'm just apologizing, really, because some people are not used to dreadlocks. I am an African woman. This is my beauty. So I want young ones to see me when I am beautiful, not when I'm wearing the waves or tying the dreads. This is me with my dreads, long as they are. So I wear them, whether I tie them or I let them loose as you see them. So when you see me on the road, you must know that that is Mama Maritime. That's it. When you see me tying the threads, that is still Mama Maritime. Thank you, young ones. Today we're going to deal with navigation technology. I want you to get navigation technology today. By the way, we'll be starting from what we did yesterday. We talked about longitudes and latitudes. We talked about the equator, parallels, latitudes, including the equator, that is 0 degrees, and longitudes, the meridians or longitudes, that's with the Greenwich meridian, and then they go east or west, whereas the latitudes, they go north or south. So I said that yesterday. Now, these are angular distances. These are measured in degrees. When you come out with angles, whenever you're talking with latitude and longitude, those are angular distances from the equator, latitudes. But the longitudes are angular distances from the Greenwich meridian. So you must master them like that. Now, these are important in navigation. I said that because you are moving, you are crossing them one by one, whether you are going north or you are going south. When you are going south, you are going towards Cape Town if you are in South Africa. South of Cape Town is the Antarctica. Whether you are going to east, you are crossing longitudes, going to Japan, Tokyo, towards the east. So you are crossing the longitudes. So that's why I say they are very important in navigation. Even if you go north, for instance, you are going north towards the Pacific, you do the same. So you are crossing the latitudes. And then east-north, you are crossing the longitudes. So navigation, really, when you are navigating, it must be in your mind that you have a business of directing and operating a ship or an aircraft. There's navigation in aviation as well. They navigate the aerospace. So as we are navigating the oceans, from one ocean to another, or maybe the seas, we go inland where there are seas. So that's all navigation. So you are called a navigator. Once you are navigating, you also have a responsibility to communicate. You're communicating with a nearby port or communicating with the port of departure, communicating with the ship owners themselves. You are also directing, you are also managing, you are sailing at the same time. So you do this work as a seaman, you do this work as a seafarer. That is why at a certain point in time in this, our nautical science, we will be dealing with seamanship. I said we will deal with nautical science, we'll deal with meteorology, we'll deal with communication, we'll deal with seamanship. Those 4, because you need to be a recognized seafarer. Now, modern techniques, these days there are modern techniques of navigating, whilst in the olden days traditional ways were used, but now we have developed technology, or you want to say technology is advanced. So now the positions of ships, I said yesterday that positions of ships have to be known. They have to be calculated. The direction the ship is taking must be known, and also it must be measured. So how are we going to do this currently in modern days? In the modern days, we have technology, as I have said. We deal with electronics. Now shipping is about electronics now, and technology, advanced technology. Let me put it that way. These instruments, or this equipment or apparatuses, whatever you want to call them, they have receivers. These receivers are collecting information from the satellites. Yes, they collect information from, and then that collection of information from the satellites makes navigation easier. And also, as I said yesterday, the navigators would be planning their voyage before leaving, using their charts, nautical charts. We have charts we call nautical charts, but in geography, really we used to call these topographic maps. But topographic maps are all inclusive, whereas nautical charts are taking the geographical position of the coast and the ocean itself. So they don't go beyond such areas, whereas a topographic map can go beyond that. Now, the nautical charts and topographic charts, or topographic charts at a smaller scale or bigger scale, they have scales. A scale can be bigger or smaller depending on the information you want to include on that. Now, these nautical charts are used to chart or to plot the journeys, the voyages. You will find the navigators drawing lines from one point to another, measuring the direction, measuring the distance, calculating the distance and direction, doing that. All that kind of information, they do it on charts. Apart from the technology I am talking about, because the technology that receives information from the satellites is not going to waste time. It gives the information you want at that time, irrespective of you wanting to chart, to sit down and do drawings and all those kind of things. But it's easier when you use the electronics to do it. So why do you do this? You want to know the position of the ship. You want to know the angles from maybe an angle from the Greenwich Meridian to a point, the point of an object. Maybe there is an object that is there which could be an obstacle to the voyage. That object must be known where it is. A ship must not be taken by surprise. So these positions are important. There's a lot of observation in the ship. Like I said yesterday, some people are watching on the deck. There's a lot of observation, whether you use an equipment to observe or you look at your nautical charts and see where an object could be, maybe a lighthouse, as an example, a simple example, a lighthouse. Now, maybe some of you don't know the lighthouses. We'll deal with them later, not now. For now, we are still busy about simpler definitions. So you measure bearings the direction in degrees. Also, using all this time you are measuring, most of the time you are doing a kind of geometry. Those you who know geometry, you come out with angles, you come out with distances and all that. Now, when you're going to do this mathematics, those who do mathematics know you need to have equipment, apparatus, e.g., protractors, dividers, compasses, as you know them, pencils and all, because you are going to work on the chart, you are going to measure on the chart. So these charts that are used are called nautical charts. Nautical charts give you everything you'll find on your journey, but unfortunately they are not given as you would see them. It's only symbols that are put there, symbols that are representing the object you would want to see. Now, where do you get these symbols? There are symbols, charts, collection of charts, of symbols, I'm sorry, not collection of charts, of symbols that are put for you somewhere. You have to order them, order the symbols, so that you are able to interpret the nautical chart. If you don't know the symbols, you won't see what you are looking for. For instance, you are looking for a lighthouse. A lighthouse could be anything. It could be a beacon. It could be a house. You just see a house. You don't know that is a house. So a house might be having a green light, showing a green light or a red light. That is a lighthouse, and it is guiding the ships. It has got a very, very important job. But unfortunately, when you go to your nautical chart, you are not going to get that building, or to see that building, or to see that beacon. You are going to see a sign. So you must know those signs. You must know, they call them symbols for that matter. They don't even call them signs. They are standardized ones, which your school should be prepared to order for you, because if the school doesn't do that, you won't be able to interpret the charts the way I can say all other things here. Like I'm saying, it's like I'm singing. But if you have a chart here and I'm talking and you know your symbols, you'll be able to understand. If I say to you, look at a certain object, northeast of the northeast. You will go northeast. Northeast of what? Northeast of the Greenwich Meridian, or north of the equator, or east of the equator. Then you get that symbol because you already know it. So that's what you're going to find in the nautical charts. You must know, memorize the symbols. Then you'll be better off when you're doing the practical work, or the charting, or the plotting of charts. Right. Now, I said your school should be ordering the nautical charts, should be ordering the tables, publications. So all these things, you'll get them, and symbols, you get them from the publishers. They will have it. You will Google them and you know where to get them. There's something they call 5011 that is standardized, that has got a, I'll tell you about it later in a later video. 5011 that is standardized, I think it's a British version of showing those kinds of symbols. So we'll get to it when the time comes.